Goliath. He's a giant monster we know.
And my ego's me. I'm saying, you think you fly, huh? You ain't shit. Look, amateur get here, kick your ass. You better get on top of your game. You want to get embarrassed in front of these people.
And I'm the little David who only has God on my side, which is only all I need.
And then the other ego say, you, and watch what I'm going to do.
As if 2020 hasn't been wild enough. Two of my favorite fighters of time are about to get in the ring and go toe-to-toe. I don't care if these dudes was 90 years old. I would be tuning in to see this fight. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because this is mind-blowing to me. Like, I'm like a kid in a candy store thinking about these two going head-to-head.
Okay, I'm going to kick this shit off because I'm a huge fan of both guys. You see who I got up on my wall here, right? That's my man. That's my man. But I have to keep it 1,000. I'm a huge Roy Jones fan. Now, if this fight took place 20 years ago, 25 years ago, this would be a scary fucking fight between two prime fucking animals, right? Like, but the reality that I'm seeing right now is my man Tyson ain't been in the ring in, what, 20-something years, 30 years, something like that. He's about to come in here and destroy Roy Jones. Why do you say that, Devon? Because Roy Jones has been knocked out several times in the last couple of years, man. All right? And then he's about to get in there with this monster that's hungry as hell. He's slobbering on himself in the damn commercials. Can't even talk right. Oh, man.
Rashad, chime in, please. I know you got something to say on this for sure.
Okay, so number one, you guys know, but I love boxing. I mean, that's boxing, MMA, for doing like the hierarchy of what's what. You know how I feel about Mike Tyson. I don't think he's the greatest, but I do think that he is definitely in the conversation, in that top, 7, 8 conversation of all time. I love Roy Jones Jr., but for different reasons. Like, at a time where boxing still needed stars and stuff like that, he was the lone star of boxing. You know what I'm saying? You had Pretty Boy Floyd, but he hadn't really popped, like that at that time. Mike Tyson is brutal, is a brutal boxer, just a brutal guy, like, overall. Roy Jones Jr. was a fun champion, but towards the tail end of his career, even before those losses that Devon was mentioning, like, I was at the Tarver fight at Mandalay Bay in May 15th of 2004. I still got that ticket. And so I was at the Tarver fight when he got knocked out in the second round. And it's one of those things that, man, you're never quite the same. And after he got knocked out, he was never, ever the same. I think if you put Tyson against anybody else, it might be like, all right, man, there might be a chance for a go back and forth. This is one of those things, like, with the training that we've seen Mike Tyson do, and the way we know he hits as hard as he hits, hey, man, like, this 10-round exhibition should be over relatively quickly. Like, honestly, I just if Roy couldn't throw punches at Tarver towards the tail end of his career. He was just slow. Tyson seems like he's slower than actual boxers now, but still faster than anybody remember the fight, the Wilder Fury fight that just happened? They bought on the legends, and you saw Tyson, and they bought in Holyfield, and they bought in Lennox Lewis. Tyson's the only one that still looks great. He's the only heavyweight that still kind of looks like he could do something. So, man, you put him against a smaller guy who had to end up fighting his way up to heavyweight, man, Mike Tyson is going to destroy Roy Jones Jr. If Roy Jones had been able to dance and do all that unorthodox stuff he did, like when he was in the mid-'90s and early 2000s, I don't see that happening. Y'all must have forgot Mike Tyson was that nigga, man. And as it comes to most boxers, like Roy Jones Jr., we talk about the greatest ever. We've never said Roy Jones Jr. name. We had that conversation on the show. We've never brought up Roy Jones Jr.'s name. We brought up Tyson's. We brought up Mayweather's. We brought up everybody else's. We've never, ever said Roy Jones Jr., and I think there's a reason for it.